Hey there, my name is Lakin Kennedy. I'm the founder of MyGovTracks, and you are about to get into how to do a custom search. And this is the first video for that, so we're going to be looking at upcoming contracts. But before we proceed, make sure that you have a pretty good understanding of how to search the typical reports when you're selecting the company, the product, the state, and the file type, right? So you should have a pretty good idea, and you're like, okay, that's great, right, that I have categories, but I know that I'm looking for something specific. That's where these custom searches are going to come in handy. All right. So first thing you notice is that there's only one dropdown, and I do that for simplicity's sake, because I'm always navigating that fine line between user friendly and bare bones, right? So that's something that I have to deal with, and I've gotten pretty good feedback so far. So we're going to look at upcoming contracts. Now, once we select upcoming contracts, this listing is going to appear. As a side note, if we select awarded contracts, a different listing will appear. There's some similar fields, but it is a different, it is a different listing. Same thing applies for companies. Then, companies has a different list, and people has the shortest list. All right, so this video is focused only on upcoming contracts. So let's dive into it. Once we select a field, like agency, it's going to ask us to enter a keyword. No matter what you click, it's always going to say enter keyword. All right, so we're going to go through those fields and what those keywords might look like. So for agency, I'm referring to the agencies that are listed on your upcoming contracts report. So Veteran Affairs, comma space, Department of. If I come in here and I put in Department of Veterans Affairs, exactly as I said it, no results will appear. If I copy this, or if I just type Veterans Affairs, I will get all of the results. Something to keep in mind. All right. So then the title, when we're looking at title, this is what we are referring to. With the title, what you see is what you get, right? So when you're searching title, if it's in this block, you'll find it. If there are none that match what you looked up, then you will not find it. Description, however, searches the entire description. If you notice at the end here, you have TH, right? As if there's supposed to be an E at the end to make the word the. Yeah, so it's truncated. The full description you can read if you go to the more info, like we've talked about earlier. And this is searching the full description. When you come in here and you search, based on that field for description, it's searching all of that. So when you get your PDF, you might not see the word you looked up in the description, but it is there. It's just, farther down. All right. The next thing is the product or service name. The product or service name is referring to this right here, right? Which is the product that they're looking for. If you're familiar with NAICS codes, then you'll get the concept. I'm not going to dive into it because NAICS name is not something that appears visually on here. But the more that you dive into this information, you might get a stronger understanding on a NAICS name. In fact, I almost guarantee that you will. Right, the product or service name is different than the product or service code. If you're familiar with codes, you can type in the code and you can get your results. But if you're new, I recommend that you go off of the name because, for example, this one says maintenance of hospitals and infirmaries. There is probably a product or service name that is renovation of hospitals and infirmaries. There might be one that is reclamation of hospitals and infirmaries. If you look up hospitals and infirmaries, you might find more results than you may have initially found. So I don't want you to have to type in a bunch of different codes to encompass a field, and that is why product or service name is an option. Now, the last two things I want to talk about. Number one is the city. It's just the city's name. So no commas, nothing like that. If there's a space in there, you got to have the space. If you're not seeing anything, try to find that city on a report. All right. The last thing is the POC's name, email, and phone number. So that is right here. John M. Paul. If I just look up John Paul for the POC name, I'm not going to find him. Go with the email. It's the best. It's the best course of action. You can also look up these codes. Thank you so much. Have a good one.